Okay, good afternoon to everyone joining today. This is CVVC Africa's fourth webinar we are hosting. Today is a very cold and rainy day in Cape Town, so I hope you're all snug. We've seen Cardano since we've been here. We've seen Partisia, we've had Polkadot, and today we are going to hear all about Velas, which is another successful protocol in Switzerland in the blockchain technology industry. Since we last met, it has been such an exciting time for us. We were in Davos recently in Switzerland at the blockchain hub during the same time as the World Economic Forum, where we were able to present our African blockchain report. This report was so well received with all its interesting findings, and we believe now it's so prominent that the African footprint has really begun, and the rest of the world are certainly watching our space. Brenton will tell you more about this in a bit. We have a great lineup today of speakers from SECO and CVVC, and our main key speaker today is Shirly, who is the founding team member and COO at Velas. Shirly has been studying the developments of the crypto space within Europe and Switzerland for the past several years now, and is involved as a private investor, evangelist, and advisor for the Swiss Kickstart Accelerator program. It's also quite nice to say that for us, there is quite a lot of female representation in the room, and especially within this industry. So thank you to the ladies, especially for participating today. Shirly, we'll hear from you shortly. And now let's first hear it from Brenton. Brenton is our CVVC Africa's Director of Capital Formation, who will tell us what's been happening on the ground. Brenton?
Brilliant. Thank you, Stacey. So I know everybody is very excited to hear from Velas and Shirly today, but we've actually had quite a few interesting developments here as the CVVC Africa team. And I think the first is the release of our Africa blockchain report, which is actually the first of its kind here in Africa. And it gives you a complete overview of what the state of blockchain is really in each individual region in Africa. And we're very proud to have done that in partnership with Standard Bank. So if you're joining us from Africa, it's a name that you'll be very familiar with. Probably didn't expect to have a bank next to a blockchain report, but we have done it here in Africa. And, you know, I think we're a team of firsts, because in addition to Africa's blockchain report, which you can actually find in the chat, I've just dropped the link, we actually also announced Africa's first early stage blockchain fund. And for those of you who are startups, which we know a lot of our audience are, it's really, really difficult to raise capital and fund your business in that very early stage, you know, what we in the industry call pre-seed and seed. And we've created a fund specifically for blockchain companies in Africa to fill exactly that gap. So a second first for us here in Africa, and a third will be, we're launching Africa's first blockchain exclusive hub out of the V&A waterfront in Cape Town next month on the 8th of July. So if you're in Cape Town, please make sure to get in touch with us in our group. We would love to have you. It's going to be an amazing event. So lots have been happening here from the Africa team, Stacey. You know, our report, which you can check out in the chat. We've just launched our fund. So for all of you startups who have been looking for someone to back you, we'll be there soon. We've got the first hub coming up, and to top all of this off, Africa's first blockchain accelerator will be launching in the fourth quarter of this year, if all goes according to plan. So very exciting stuff, Stacey, but I know we're a little bit behind time, so I'm going to hand back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Brenton. And just on that note with the blockchain hub, which we're so excited about at Workshop 17 at the waterfront, if you are a startup and you want to come check out our space and get to see where we're working, please reach out to us, reach out to Brenton or Gideon, and we'll be happy to have a coffee and meet you there. And then also with that event happening where we're going to show you our space and really network there, that will be coming up in July, so stay tuned for some invites. Otherwise, if you're in Africa but you can somehow get to Cape Town for the first week of July, let us know, and we hope to see you there and host you in our new space. So Now it's time to hear from our Swiss family in the room. Janis, who is the CVVC Ecosystem Manager in Incubation in Switzerland. We're so excited to have you tell us about the incubation program. We've tried a few times now to have Janis come and present to us, but he is always busy either managing or running or organizing these incubation programs. So Janis, this is really a special time for us to hear all about the program and what are the special insights that you can give to the attendees about it.
Well, yeah, thank you very much for this kind introduction, Stacey. So yeah, it's nice to meet you, the African community of our, let's call it brothers and sisters in Africa. So I will tell you today or give you some insights today about our incubator, basically a global incubator, which we run out of Zug here in Switzerland. And before we get there, I want to just give you a brief overview again, what we do at CV Labs and CVVC, because sometimes it's a bit unclear what we actually are doing because we do so much. So basically at CV Labs, we're running the ecosystem for CVVC, and this consists of co-working, events, research, advisory, and also incubation. And incubation has been one of the, let's say, first services we were offering. So currently we're running the 4th incubation batch. And in the past, we were running 3 more, which have been interrupted through the topics of COVID. But we're looking now to be more active in this space, and also, therefore, we developed this new incubation program. So basically, we're offering very early blockchain startups $135,000 in funding for equity or tokens. And we believe that creating a hybrid incubator is currently the right play, because as we're operating globally with our new venture in Africa, with our co-working space in Liechtenstein, but also with a global presence, we want to make it possible for everybody to participate hassle-free. But that said, we also believe, or still believe, in community building, in in-person meetings, and that's why it's hybrid. So I will talk about that a bit later, but to give you some stats and some numbers, so far we incubated 34 startups, divided into 4 batches, and from 16 different countries. So this is our team. This is the people who is running basically running and being involved in the incubator from Switzerland. So there is me, I'm managing the program, I'm helping with the scouting of startups. We have Nikolai, who basically was the creator of the CV Labs incubator. We have Olaf, our co-founder and chief investment officer. Then we also have Luca, David, and Bastian, who handle the investment side. But now let's have a bit of a look in what exactly this incubator is about. So as you know, it's fully blockchain focused, and we try to leverage our network as good as possible. Here in Switzerland, we're in the crypto valley, where we have a very high density of crypto companies, for example, also Velas, which you will hear later about. And we try to connect the startups who want to join us on this journey to as many players as possible. Overall, as you can see, maybe also through the link that Brenton sent, there is also some other reports, and one of them is the Top 50 report, where you also can find some stats about the crypto valley. And one of the latest editions states that we have now over 1,200 crypto companies in the crypto valley. And to give you an idea how dense that is, the crypto valley is pretty much a fraction of South Africa in terms of the size. So we're very, very, very concentrated here. So apart from that, we also built a network of mentors and experts who are getting involved with startups to give them expertise in specific topics, because us as a VC and as an ecosystem, we can't be knowledgeable in all topics. And that's why we try again to leverage our network and connect the startups to the right people. Furthermore, are we incubating very, very early projects, of course. So we're talking pre-MVP, MVP stage. And this often means that the startups didn't yet decide on a tech stack or a protocol to build on. And on that note, we're working now with 15 protocols together and try to connect our startups to the right protocol for their journey. And one of them also being Velas, of course. Next, we have a very entrepreneurial background in our company. So for example, all our founders, but also most of our staff has entrepreneurial experiences and can assist you as a startup on your journey with personal knowledge and coaching. And last but not least, again, as we are a fully fledged ecosystem, we will bring more than capital to the table. We bring a co-working space across the globes. We bring events, we bring reports where we can feature you, and then also we bring our big network. But now you might ask, so who are we looking for? So who is basically the perfect candidate for the CV Labs Incubator? And to be honest with you, we don't know. So we are very, very broad setup in terms of industries and also in terms of geographical location. We have this mindset that we try to be involved in as many industries, as many projects or good projects as possible to be on board once there is a unicorn flourishing out of our ecosystem. So we have a few guidelines though, which means, of course, you have to be in Web3, you have to be very early. So we define it by MVP, pre-MVP stage. You need to have a global investment, a global development approach. But then also we have some preferences. For example, we prefer to invest in low capital efficiency growth projects. So this means what is not an example, what not a low capital efficiency growth project is a bank or exchange where you need a lot of investment capital in the beginning in order to get things moving. So we like more the startups which can basically bring out of a software idea a very, very big project. Last but not least, we look for applications, so we don't invest in layer ones. And to give you some ideas what we did so far, we have on the one hand Surfblock, a startup from Ireland, and they're very, very traditional in the terms of the blockchain usage. So they do supply chain tracking. So something we saw in the beginning of the technology already coming up, but they optimize it now for the pharma industry. But then on the other hand, we have Vilcaso, which is a DeFi project, which helps US citizens to unlock their home equity and gives them basically DeFi products across the token that we launch for them. Right, so now just very briefly an overview of what, or basically how this incubator is structured. So I mentioned now multiple times hybrid. So this means we have one part in Switzerland, which is the bootcamp. It's only a week. We fly our startups in, we connect them to our network. We have some initial, let's call it workshops and bonding activities. But then after this week, we go fully remote. We have an online platform which allows all the startups to access their webinars, their content, their pre-recorded videos, their presentations online, and therefore it doesn't matter where they are, if they're in Johannesburg, if they're in Seoul, Korea, or if they're in the States. So we divided this online part into two blocks. So the first one is all about product, technology, legal, and the second block is all about marketing, PR, and branding. So each of these blocks then again consists of expert talks, consists of webinars, which we basically facilitate through our network and through our relations to our network. Then last but not least, we conclude this 10-week program with graduation, where we have an online demo day, and we have, let's say, a few events which lead up towards this demo day in terms of pitch practice, pitch opportunities, etc. As I know we are a bit tight on time, I will skip the details of the program, but don't worry, you wouldn't miss out if you can't check it now. Just check our website, which I will send you the link later on. Here you can see some of our partners for incubation. We work with exchanges, we work with cybersecurity firms, we work with traditional players, we work with banks, we work with consultants, with media. So as you can see, it's a very broad scope of companies and industries. But once you decide to join us on this journey, we try to help you and connect you as much as we can. Last but not least, I would love to invite everybody attending today to our demo day, which is actually next week. So in order to sign up, please scan the QR code on the left. And on the other hand, I also would encourage every startup, every builder, and every tech enthusiast who has a vision and an idea to apply for incubator. Applications for batch 5 are open now, and it will start most likely in winter, which is probably summer in South Africa. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can see here my phone number, my email address. Feel free to reach out through Telegram or send me a mail. Happy to answer and happy to set up a meeting if you're a project and you would like to learn more about us. Awesome. On that note, I would like to pass the word again to you, Stacey, and
thank you, Janis.
Airtime.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time and just sharing all about that. It's so exciting, and it's such a fantastic opportunity for startups out there to see that and know that this is something that they can be part of. So if you're a startup and you're interested, batch 5, it's out, it's coming soon, and that is really something to look forward to. So thank you so much. We are now going to hear it from Franziska, who is the head of SECO. SECO have been our loyal partners in the Swiss government for the past year. And although this partnership now soon comes to an end, we still hope to continue the relationship as we forge into the future. Francisca, over to you.
Thank you, Stacey. Well, let me just say for a donor like SECO, the Swiss State Secretariat of Economic Affairs, it's of course a great pleasure to talk to innovative people, because as you know, I mean, governments don't have are not popular for being innovative, but this is why we try to collaborate with organizations such as CVVC to help young entrepreneurs. And our mandate from SECO is to work in developing countries and support you guys out there, giving you a chance, and not only the individual. So our mandate is helping the whole ecosystem. When you read ecosystem, what is meant by it? In the end, I mean,
Francisca,
yes.
I'm gonna pause you for 1 second. I just want you to put your camera on, because I'm so badly want to see you speaking to us. If you don't mind. There we go. Okay, now you're good. We heard everything perfectly loud and clear, but now we can see you too, so that's great.
Oh, sorry for that. I don't know why it switched off, because I didn't. Okay, not a problem. So what I wanted to say is that I think for us, when we always hear this word ecosystem, right? What do we really mean? And I sometimes also ask this nasty question, but in the end, I mean, it is one of these fancy words. What is behind is that we talk about all the actors that contribute that this blockchain environment, this blockchain theme will drive. And with that, all of you, the SMEs, CVVC, the government, other capital investors, count and matter, of course, also research, etc. So I think that is just very important to keep in mind, especially when you work in such a competitive environment. I just want to really put that close to your heart, to remember to collaborate with others, because the learning, the exchange will bring you further, even though sometimes you might have to share some profits with others. But I think in the long haul, it is beneficial. Maybe just a few words. I mean, our collaboration with CVVC has been a very new experience for us, and Stacey, Gideon, and colleagues will tell you more that working collaboration between private sector and government is not always easy, because we are a bit slow and have other understandings, and it is a bit painful sometimes, but I think it's worthwhile, and it has been a start. And I think it's not coming to an end at the moment. The funding comes to an end, but we are very hopeful, and that's the point I want to put emphasis, is the collaboration, what came out of it, also collaboration between universities. So Swiss universities and South African universities will have a bilateral research chair in blockchain technology. So watch out for these kind of opportunities. Also, and I think Stacey and colleagues can tell you more about the South African Innovation Summit, if I'm not mistaken, that takes place in September. And I mean, it's about entrepreneurial and innovation. It's a platform for you guys, so please check it out. Also, be always aware of call for proposals, opportunities where you can bring in your ideas. Also outside the more closed and specialized blockchain work. So for instance, we also have a lot of entrepreneurship programs. And I think working on innovative approaches such as blockchain still makes necessary that you have a close look at your entrepreneurship skills. And for instance, there we work with the African Development Bank on the Boost program. We can provide you with some information. Then, for instance, in South Africa, for those of you who are located in South Africa, the Department of Science and Innovation is also doing a lot of work. For instance, they have a collaboration with the World Bank between the Department of Science and Innovation and the Department of Small Business Development. So keep an eye on that. Then also a call from my side, especially when you are active in a developing context. Always keep an eye out for, let's say, the township economies, the weaker parts of the economy. And joining forces with them might offer you access to financing beyond the typical support. So this is really a call from my side to not focus purely on the, let's say, higher level, more sophisticated approaches. I mean, I have here many more points that I could highlight, but if you have any questions of what we are doing, I suggest that you just approach Stacey, and she can facilitate the contact to us. We don't support individual companies, but we have quite a broad knowledge on the general landscape of entrepreneurship programs. So that is just my call, also to just show you that government work is not only boring. Please collaborate with them. Tell also government officials what you need, so we can find a good way. And I think that is one part of the success story in Switzerland, where government and private sector work very closely together and help each other out to find and navigate ways in a new environment such as blockchain. Maybe let me just close with a quote that I really like, and I think I have quoted it a couple of times, but I think in this context it is even more adequate. It is one of the pioneers of the Industrial Revolution, Henry Ford, and he says, "Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success." And in that sense, I wish you a lot of working together and a lot of success. Thanks.
Wow, Francisca, this is the part where you drop your mic. That was so beautiful, and it really was fantastic to hear everything that you had to say. And you made a small comment about how working with the government can be quite slow. In fact, we never ever felt that. We never thought that at all. Working with the Swiss government was incredible, because for us, we just became so aware of a government that actually works, which is something that often lacks within our own country. So thank you very much. And for that quote, working together, we felt that. Okay, so now for our main speaker, Shirly, let's hear about Velas, how it became a successful protocol, and all the learnings in your company that you can share with us today.
Hi, everyone, and great intro. Do you see my screen and the presentation?
Yes, perfect.
So hi, everyone, I'm Shirly. I'm based at Velas headquarters in Zug. I'm one of the founding team members, started with the white paper April 2019. And a little bit about my background. I'm originally from Estonia. So if I heard here comments about governments being slow and old-fashioned, then this was a different case with the Estonian government in the early 90s. After the Soviet Union collapsed, the government decided to put the whole focus into IT and digitalization of the country. So absolutely all schools over the country were installed with computers, and we got computer lessons since second grade. And by now, 99% of public services are all on distributed ledger technology. So my first touch point using TLT was over 20 years ago. And but this, of course, is a private and permissioned blockchain. And now working at Velas, which is an open, permissionless blockchain, it's a bit different, but still there is something to learn also from the private blockchain part. And I'm actually started studying the space end of 2016, specifically the Bitcoin and the underlying blockchain behind the Bitcoin network, and thereafter other alternative coins, and made my first individual investments early 2017, and then moved to Zug, which is the crypto valley of Europe, November 2017, where I started shortly thereafter my career at crypto mining investment firm. And I had also expertise in installing mining machines and setting up mining facility, and going through that very practical part as well, besides the theoretical part. So I've pretty much self-learned, but my background is in political science and business. So currently I serve at Velas as COO and a board member. And we actually rooted from a project called coinpayments.net, which is out there since 2013. It's founded by the same founder and CEO, Alex Alexandrov. And Coin Payments has thousands and different digital assets on their platform where merchants can use their API solution to accept all these currencies. And they're extremely successful. They're still one of the top industry players. And their team saw what are the issues and bottlenecks by integrating all these different digital assets with underlying different protocols. And that was 3.5 years ago. And they wanted to create something that would solve this blockchain trilemma issue, as well as other complexities in the space. And Velas actually comes from virtual expanding learning autonomous system. And our initial idea was to implement artificial intuition on the consensus network. So we started the research and development with the Moscow Institute of Artificial Intelligence. So we architected a model where we'd analyze 80 different parameters on the network and then create basically an autonomous consensus mechanism, which either slows down or speeds up the transactions or learns from the past behavior of the network and applies these learnings to the future consensus. And little fast forward 1.5 years of doing this research and training of these neural networks and getting various results, we in between decided to change our strategy a bit, which is very healthy in the crypto space, I think, because if you realize that the industry moves along so fast that there are a lot of open source white label solutions or open source code base out there in the internet, which you could choose and build upon further with improvements, then you save a lot of time and effort. And this is what we did. So after some considerations, we decided to change the strategy and take both technologies out there in terms of the usability, adoption, and what is the best performing in terms of transaction finality and throughput. So we combined Solana as a code base and added Ethereum compatibility. And we've been live with that concept over a year now. And I think that was a smart decision. So the AI, artificial intuition research was developed into a venture by the researchers, and any project or a protocol actually out there now that wants to try out if this really improves their network and can reach out to the researchers and utilize it for them. I think they rebranded it Guardians of the Blockchain, so check it out as well. It's Velas funded research. And so currently, what I mentioned, the Coin Payments integration team, so we're now completely separate independent entities. Velas registered in Zug, and also we're founded there with actual office July 2019, and ever since we're operating completely independently from Coin Payments. And what are some other issues that were out there is the difficulty using Web3 or having the access to Web3. So currently it's still very techy, and we also wanted to additionally solve the complexity so that anyone out there with any technical skills that could use the solutions. And when I take from my example from the public services using them on distributed ledger technology, no one actually feels what is the underlying protocol, because it matters what if that solution is making your life easier and more efficient, and it saves a lot on the administration side. It's accessible 24/7, 365, wherever you are in the world. And this is what we should focus on actually. And Velas wanted to build some, or not wanted, but we wanted to demonstrate it to the users that Web3 solutions are not something for tech savies, that anyone out there on the street can use them. And we developed in-house a decentralized social media platform. We developed wallets and also Velas account, which is an easy solution for logging into Web3 applications rather than the MetaMask and having to store your seed phrase somewhere safe. And so the Velas account uses your biometrical identity. And the learning from there was that our focus got shifted away between juggling all these different use cases and products, that we didn't extend the team by developing all these products in-house enough and sufficiently, that maybe we lost some of this momentum from the actual core development, which was blockchain, and maybe it slowed down the potential a bit where we could have been. But because as far as I know, there are no other protocols that ever developed their in-house products. So it was mostly done within a grant program or by external teams. And this is maybe the learning the hard way, that by having too much on your plate slowed us a bit down from where we could have been. But we are learning from the past and applying it to the future. So now we're outsourcing currently we just outsourced the decentralized social media platform called BitOrbit. And it's all about bringing the power of content and content creators from the platform aspect to the content creators. So they will have a chance to either monetize their data, keep it private, public, or paid, and it enables them to profit 100% from their own content without the platform charging any fees or for the advertisement with integrated crypto wallets. And this is what we're supporting. We're supporting the powering the data and the ownership and data privacy and ownership and accessibility. So I know in Africa there is a big problem with people having no bank access or infrastructure, and I think the blockchain technology has a huge advantage to solve these issues there. And this is a bit about the characteristics of our blockchain currently. So after moving or migrating to the Solana code base, and I didn't mention that Velas was already live January 2020, when we had built a blockchain from scratch. So whilst we were doing the research on the AI side, we were already having a operating protocol built from scratch. And currently, after the migration to Solana code base, we are the fastest Ethereum compatible blockchain, meaning bringing this transaction finality that is fastest in the space 1.2 seconds or around 1 second. And the throughput on the Ethereum chain side, so it's a hybrid chain with, on the Ethereum side, it's 10,000 transactions per second, which is faster than Ethereum 2.0 promises to be, or faster than any other EVM chain out there. And then we have a native side, which is used for staking, as well as communicating with the exchanges, where the throughput is around 75,000 transactions per second, which is not limited by software, but by hardware. So with a more powerful hardware, you can even achieve more. So this is what's meant by GPU, CPU transaction acceleration. And what is extremely user-friendly is the freedom of charging transaction fees, or so the difference between Ethereum is that in Ethereum you would have to hold the underlying protocol assets on your wallet in order to perform transactions on Ethereum-based solutions or projects that have issued their own token. You still would need to have the underlying Ethereum asset, and this is creating complexity. And in Velas case, if you launch your own project on Velas protocol and you issue your own token within your project, then you don't need to have Velas coin as an underlying asset for people to perform transactions, or you can choose to set up your own node, and you can let people transact for free by subsidizing the transaction fees, which are like non-existent, because in the Velas ecosystem, you can process 1 million transactions just for $10. The Q3, Q4, we're coming out with full cross-chain compatibility, additionally to the Ethereum and Solana one. So we start with Bitcoin. That means you will be able to transact Bitcoin on Velas chain at 1.2 second transaction finality and around 75,000 transactions per second. And one by one, we're adding other bigger digital assets on this decentralized custody. It's called Velas Vault. And this is our solution to uniting all the ecosystems into one, rather than keeping them on silos and having them on silos as the current industry is operating at. And I think this comes into huge importance when we speak about metaverses or gaming, because in case you're operating or you're switching between different metaverses, different brand metaverses, you don't want to go and access them through different browsers. You would rather want to have it in different tabs via one browser. So this is an analogy of what we're doing with the cross-chain compatibility. And I mentioned the Velas account, which is the Web3 easy login solution and extremely secure. And this is another product we're going to outsource shortly. Right now, it can be tested on the Test Flight app. And Velas Freedom is the transaction fee flexibility. This is, yeah, this I already explained, sorry. So currently, we're having over 150 nodes operating, and some numbers like the projects live are so 1 year ago we started a grant program. So the grant program is extremely important to onboard new developers and projects and attract talent to the protocol. The grant program we increased from 5 million to 100 million after seeing a big surge in applicants. So currently, each project can apply for up to $100,000 no strings attached grants. The grant is can be utilized for technical development, and we're always evaluating if these funds are going under a justified activities or for justified activities. So we're having a full breakdown of resources and create a grant milestones and or one-off task, and at the same time we're also providing a marketing support for the teams, because we have built over time an organic community in 13 different geographical locations, and globally we have over 300,000 community members and social channel followers. So it's important to keep them organic, because I mean, it's easy to buy or acquire following, which is I mean, nowadays you can buy anyone, but I think it's important to have organic community, because they will be sharing and distributing and spreading the word organically and naturally on, and it's also when we started at Velas, then first focus went to building communities, and this could be in Telegram, in Discord, Twitter, Reddit. So there are developer specific social media channels, but also because it's a blockchain, it's something that everyone could have exposure to through the coin that represents the blockchain. We're also marketing on like channels like Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. So by now we have 13 different communities that are delivering content in their local languages. We have also an African community, and I shared the link in the chat here. And I think by creating different partnerships or launching different partnerships and reaching out to different collaborative teams, it's important to have this cross marketing going on in order you could touch base on each other's communities as well, because Web3 is all about community. As some projects have proved, you don't even need to have the underlying tech ready yet in order to plus them. Of course, Velas has always preferred to keep it hand in hand and simultaneously work on the tech in the stealth mode, as well as keep the community engagement live and running. So here I have some small chart, comparative chart with the other big chains out there, just for a comparison, and the technologies we use. So I mentioned that I decided to go with the highest and best performing blockchain out there, Solana, and combine it with Ethereum because the most used technologies and white label solutions and tools are available in the Ethereum ecosystem, as well as the developer talent. Building your business up using some proprietary blockchain language can be extremely complex procedure, because you need to find developers, and it's already hard to find good developers, blockchain engineers. So we wanted to ease that burden a bit. So on Velas, you can develop on Solidity, C++, Rust. So have this barrier lowered, rather than some other protocols out there that have their own proprietary coding language, and some other technical capabilities here that can be used building an Velas ecosystem. And a little bit about the team. So we have currently, we started like 3 people at first. I was the second employee. Now we're 90 to 100 people across the world. We have offices in Zug, in Dubai, in Kiev. We had around 6 developers that are now scattered around Europe, like places in like Lisbon and Montenegro, and as well as in US. So plus some global marketing managers. So we really want to keep it decentralized. That's the blockchain open source nature of the blockchain. So yeah, some of our partners, recently in January, we entered the F1 space. So Velas became the premium partner of Ferrari, and we're alongside that, we launched an NFT arm. We acquired a company called GP NFTs that have a full-fledged services for creating metaverse NFTs, and the Velas NFT arm provides basically a full-fledged solution for projects that maybe have even no idea, or brands that have no idea, but they know they want to have some kind of foothold in the NFT and metaverse space. So Velas has combined like experts from the sports industry as well as art industry, and educational side and the community management to put together a whole full-fledged service. And that was an overview of Velas's journey. We have also launched an investment arm, investment funds, that besides technical development, the funds can be used for all types of business procedures, as well as marketing and business development. So you will find more information on velas.com or on our Medium or any other social platform, or feel free to reach out to our Telegram admin and or write an email. So we're always welcoming new projects and new developers and teams, as well as we're super excited to get some foothold in South Africa, especially because we don't have such big presence there yet. But yeah, I'm happy to hear any questions you might have.
Great, Shirley. You know, just something that you said about Web3 community, it's just so fantastic and overwhelming, really, to see how you at Velas have grown that community, and that community being organic and just such a sincere and authentic one. So congratulations to you guys, and what a journey it must have been to be the second employee and just see this growing and thriving. So really, really fantastic. I hope that there are people listening in South Africa that think, sure, but this is something now that I want to be a part of, and how can we partner up with Velas? So I do hope that people will be in touch with you through one of your many channels that you guys have created through your community. I will check whether we have any Q&A. There doesn't seem to be any questions at the moment. So I don't think we'll have to worry about that, but you've left your email address and you've left a whole bunch of places where people can reach out to you. So I think that if anyone has anything to ask, they can always do so. But thank you so much for your time, Shirley. It really was just a wealth of knowledge to all of us.
Thank you.
This is now the end of our webinar, and we just want to say thank you again to everyone that comes out and joins us every month. It really is great for us to create our own community, one that we are also trying to, Power Passion Yoga says, thank you, that was mind-blowing. So there you have it, Shirley, that was mind-blowing. This is our community that we're trying to grow organically, and we're still small, but one day we hope to be just as big as you guys. So until next time, we've got some great events happening. As we mentioned, in Cape Town, we've got the launch of the Blockchain Hub in July. We'll have a webinar coming up in July as well. We've got some events happening at the University of Johannesburg in July. We'll be running masterclasses and workshops. So there really is a lot of content and just time for us all to get together. So that's it for now, and we'll see you at the next one. Goodbye.